have somebody in a high place try to help me.
John Claude Muse was a desperate man with a heck of a story. He just needed someone to listen.
I want anybody that can help me to look to see what's happened in my case.
This man spent years in prison until our investigative team dug up the evidence that finally set him free.
Oh, baby.
I love you, baby.
Act 2 was when you were freed.
Yes.
And now there's Act 3. And Act 3 is the twist that could cost him much more now than all his days in prison. But we'll get to that in a moment.
And then I heard like horns beeping and going crazy horns, and my mom was screaming. The last thing I remember was her saying, "Jesus help us, we're gonna crash."
It all started with a deadly crash. 2 girls from the nearby town of Wauchula were saved, but their mother, Nona Moore, and 8-year-old sister Lindsay were not. A tractor trailer crushed their van, and John Claude Muse was driving the truck.
Without stopping, he come in and curve and come right in front of my truck.
John Claude said another driver cut him off and he swerved and flipped trying to dodge a crash.
The paint of the car is on the truck. Where he rubbed against me and he kept going.
This red car that sped away, the real culprit in that accident has never been found.
Never been found. They don't investigate it.
Prosecutors pinned it on John Claude and charged him with vehicular homicide, claiming that he must have dozed off behind the wheel.
Most definitely, he was alert.
There's the first problem with the case. The first witness on the scene shot down the sleeping trucker theory. But we discovered Juan Otero, a volunteer firefighter and future mayor, had never been interviewed.
Look how sharp that curve is. Watch that car. Okay? Dead asleep, you'd come right through here. You wouldn't have tried to make that curve.
There's the second problem. John Claude did appear to follow a sharp turn in the road while the state claimed he was asleep. We hired an accident reconstruction expert to prove it.
Their own diagram doesn't stand up to the physical evidence.
The state's diagram showing him missing the turn as though he was asleep did not match measurements from the scene.
The diagram is very, very deceiving.
Third problem with the case, we discovered the victim's own family forgave John Claude Muse, thought it was an accident and not a crime.
He needs to be set free, and we don't understand why no one will listen.
But the jury still convicted John Claude Muse of vehicular homicide in less than an hour. Which brings us to the fourth problem. We tracked down half the jury, and they all told us they thought John Claude got a bad rap.
I feel bad that it was an accident.
Well, you know, he truly doesn't seem to belong where he's at.
It does make me sit there and think, wow.
So how in the world did John Claude Muse get 15 years in prison?
Somebody would step up and help me. All you can say is thank you.
The road to freedom took 9 years, but John Claude finally got a new day in court, this time with the evidence we found and key witness Juan Otero on the stand.
The court's concerned more with the search for the truth.
The judge overturned the conviction and freed John Claude Muse with time served.
I hope the example of forgiveness and consideration will lessen your bitterness and allow you to proceed with a productive life.
That's exactly what he did. John Claude resumed his life as a trucker and a father.
When I go out, I go for 2 weeks. When I come back, they jump all over me. Daddy, daddy, daddy home, you know.
But over the Christmas holidays, he did not make it home. Would you believe a ride down a different country road took another sharp turn?
And the sheriff pulled me over on the highway, and he said, "Put your hand in the air."
This time there was no crash. John Claude bought a semi-trailer that had been wrongly reported stolen. And a rural Georgia deputy figured he just caught the thief.
I said, "No, the trailer is not stolen. I got paper for the trailer inside my truck. I can show it to you." He said, "I don't want to see no papers."
So you spent the holidays in jail?
That's correct.
For stealing a trailer that you didn't steal?
That's correct.
And then ICE showed up with a detainer to deport him. How can that even happen?
I don't know.
Well, he said they discovered the mix-up over the trailer and apologized for jailing him through the holidays. But ICE had already flagged him to get deported to his birthplace of Haiti, even though he came here from Haiti as a kid and has been a lawful, permanent U.S. resident for nearly 40 years.
Since I've been a little boy, I never stole, do stupid thing. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do the crazy thing that can put people in trouble.
It all goes back to getting that bad rap in court. Though his conviction was overturned, his record still shows time served for vehicular homicide, and that alone can revoke your green card and get you deported.
So everybody's doing something.
Saturday?
Yes. What you do in this house?
House?
And with that, John Claude Muse had to prepare to leave his home and family and try to figure out how to tell his little girl Jael goodbye.
Ours ready, ours steady, ours go.
But in the meantime, we fired off a lot of phone calls and emails to state and federal officials. It got the ball rolling on a clemency application, and before a hearing on that was even scheduled, we learned the immigration judge said he qualified for cancellation of removal, meaning he can stay pending a final review next year.
When I gave you that news, what went through your heart?
My whole family was in joy.
How did you celebrate that night?
My blood pressure went.
Which brings us now to the end of a journey that started with tragedy, delivered forgiveness along the way, and then salvation in the end.
And then we're gonna go out, go to a park, go do some little picnics, yeah.
American justice does not come easy, but despite the bumps and flaws, John Claude Muse says after all this, it is still the best system on earth.
That's what this country is, the United States. There is justice. You just got to keep persisting, but you'll find some justice in this country.
And that's the moral he wants us to take from all of his trials as we finally close the tale of John Claude Muse.
So at the end of the book, say hi.